You guys an assignment, right? Everyone should show this documentary in your region. If you're running a school, if you're actually if you're a teacher from a school and your head teacher is not here, you should actually show this documentary. It's called Chipkoti, The Last Milestone, right? It's 90 minutes long. It's available in all of the online streaming services, right? And this is a story of character. So we need models, right? So we're talking about character all day yesterday. We're talking about that no human is limited, but we actually need, Eliot is kind of like Brian the Bull. He's a model, right, that we can emulate actually in this area. And when you actually study him, he has amazing character qualities. It is character and the spiritual dimension, not his physicality, not his physiology alone that carried him through that goal. It's the spiritual thing, actually, right? So self-discipline was one of his qualities. Consistency was another one, doing the same thing every day. He never stopped. He was consistent. He wasn't doing it 4 days a week. It was 7 days a week. He was consistent. Unwavering self-belief. Unwavering self-belief, and we're going to be talking about beliefs in the next session here. He believed he could do it. He didn't let any detractor stop him from doing. Once he locked in this belief, he kept reinforcing it day in and day out. Mental toughness, mental fitness. We're talking about the 4 dimensions, right? To be fit in all 4 dimensions. Spiritual fitness, mental fitness, right? He's also somebody that had great humility. When he was working with his team, he would make the tea. He is tremendously humble, right? Humility is a leadership strength, actually, right? In fact, somebody who's humble, they're the people that learn the most. A person who's arrogant, they stop learning, right? So humility is a leadership strength, right? It allows you to continue to grow and to continue to learn. Overcoming challenges. We're talking about the pain pleasure earlier on. If you look at some of the documentaries, right, when he was in the Olympics, he's in one of the Olympics, his sneaker started falling apart. And the pain he was experiencing with blisters forming was unbelievable pain. And he came up, every time he experienced pain, he was smiling. So when your cameras are on him, the guy is smiling. And he is smiling because every time you see him smiling, he is overcoming incredible physical pain. And he's not letting that deter him, right? So this positive attitude was just remarkable. So overcoming the pain of the moment, okay? You should watch some of the documentaries here. A thirst for learning, right? Learning how to do this, learning new techniques. Nike made a special sneaker for him, right? And so on and so forth. Embracing hard work. You cannot get this stuff done without working hard and keeping laser focused. Where you're focused, the more you're focused, where focus goes, energy flows. So we're talking here now about transforming education in the global south towards 2050. What's very interesting about 2050 is that it's 26 years away. It's a marathon in years. A marathon is 26.2 miles. This campaign, this ambitious campaign that nobody has been able to solve in 300 years, we're actually trying to solve it in a marathon of years, right? And this marathon starts now, okay? It's not starting next week, it's starting now, and all of you are needed. You're all needed to be part of the team, right, to make this happen. No few of us can do this alone. We need a lot of people, to be called to the forefront, right, to get this done. So we can actually study Eliot and model from him, and he's Kenyan, guys, right? He is your he's part of your country. He's your fellow countryman, right? So if this Kenyan can do it, what about all of the other Kenyans in the room here? Do you think you can emulate that and become like Eliot as you do this campaign? So 2 people said absolutely, and then the rest of you are stuck with limiting beliefs, frozen by fear, okay? So let me ask you again, after hearing this story, as fellow Kenyans, right? This is not an American who did this, right? This is your country person living in he lives in the rural part of Kenya. He doesn't live in Nairobi, right? And he overcame limiting beliefs. So if he can do it, do you think you can do it? Now we have 6 people, right? So we're building momentum here. We're making progress here. We're definitely making progress. So, hey guys, right? Remember, no human is limited. I think there's a lot of limitations going on here. If Eliud Kipchoge, who was a fellow Kenyan, right, could do this, could be the first human in history on the planet Earth, no other human could do it. He did it. Do you think you can transform education by 2050? All it is a marathon in years. Do you think you can do it? Are you limited or limitless? Now we have about a quarter of the audience going, right? Okay, this time stand up. Okay, everyone stand up, okay? Let me ask you a question. Are you limited or do you have no human limits? Oh, now we got them, right? Are you limited or limitless? Okay, do you think you can do it? Awesome. All you have to do is model Eliot. Don't even model me, right? Just model your fellow countryman, right? He's right in your hometown. Okay, thank you guys. Give yourselves a big round of applause. Awesome. This is a tough crowd, actually, right? You know, I have to put out a lot of energy to get this crowd going. Okay. Okay, so do you think this mission that we're being called upon is impossible, or do you think it's possible? So 5 people said it's possible, and then the rest said this, you know, this campaign to transform a 300-year-old system is impossible, right? So do you believe that transforming education in the global south by a marathon of years, which is starting now by 2050, do you think that is possible or impossible? Now we have a quarter of the audience. Here, this is called a repeat. Now the volume here is only 50%, right? That is like halfway in between impossible and possible. This is compromising the possible part, right? So I have to ask you again, transforming education, which nobody's been able to do for 3 centuries, right? Do you think that you can do this by 2050? Do you think this is mission possible or mission impossible? Do you think that you are possible or impossible? Do you think you're possible or impossible? Now we're at 80%. Do you think you're impossible or possible? That's more like it. I think we have gone 2 more levels up, but we'll be here all day, right? You know, it's a tough audience here, right? But I think we're getting there. We're getting there. Now, some of you are skeptical here. With, yeah, we're just going through this exercise, you know. Are you possible or impossible? Okay, that's more like it. Okay, guys, thank you. So we're going to do a quick exploration of the other 3 dimensions. We spend premium time for a day and a half of this workshop on the spiritual moral dimension, right? All day yesterday and actually a good chunk of today, right? So remember, this is the primary dimension. Remember, when you hear the word character, it's way deeper than just, you know, something that's nice to have. It's connected to your conscience. It's connected to universal moral laws and principles, right? That is the background to character. And character, all it is you manifesting those standards of truth, goodness, righteousness, and love in the form of habits, actions, and behaviors on a day-by-day basis. The more we can do that, the more our character can grow. And then as educators, as leaders, all we have to do is make that effort, model that, and our students will emulate us. You cannot teach this to students on a blackboard. The only way you're going to get this done is by modeling it yourselves, right? That's why this workshop is focusing on us, right? That is the key to success. The more we can model this, then we get the students, right? Does that make sense? Okay. So let's start with the emotional relational dimension. We're going to go into this next, okay? So this dimension is very important. And, you know, when we look at who we are as relational beings, it's actually a universal principle that we are in essence relational beings. So meaningful love relationships with others, especially in our family, define our identity, our sense of purpose, and our happiness, okay? And I want to go next to something that is so overlooked in the world of growth and development. You know, almost 99% of the workshops you go on personal development, this is how it works. They focus on personal development, and then it goes to the outside world. And it skips the family, right? We're not doing that here, okay? So the family, an extended family, is an engine of growth and development. You can grow at lightning fast speed if you actually understand how important the family is and the extended family, and not to take that for granted at all, okay? The family is the most important human institution on planet Earth. Write that down. The family is the most important defining institution in our human experience. So this is our parents, our children, our spouses, our grandparents, our uncles, our aunts, right? Our nephews and nieces, our children. So when we talk about family in this context, it is not just the nuclear family, it's the extended family we're talking about, right? This is a world, this is the next world we have to master. So we have to master our inner world, which is ourselves, that's the 4 dimensions. This is the next world, right? The familial world that we have to master. So the family is the natural starting point for any meaningful transformation on the individual, family, societal, national, and worldwide levels. It is also the school of love and relationships. This is where we first learn about love, actually, right? This is where we learn about relationships the most, right? Do you know what's very interesting about the family? You don't get to choose who your family members are. They're chosen for you. Did you get to choose your parents? How about, do you have siblings? Did you get to choose them? No. Those of you who have children, did you get to choose them? No, right? Let me ask you this. When you look at your family members, are they very similar to you or they're very different from you? They're not. They're very different, okay? You know, like there's 12 different personality types, right? Like 9 times out of 10, every family member are very different from you. That's like I have 4 kids. My wife and I sometimes have discussions. Where did these kids come from? They're not like us at all, right? They seem to be aliens. I know there's no aliens, but I'm actually wondering if that's true or not. I think they're aliens. They're from some other part of the universe. They're not like us at all, okay? They're strange beings, right? And we made them. So, you know, let me ask, like my daughter, like when, I'll tell you this story. You know, when the world of social media started like 15 years ago, this is before Facebook. There was another platform, I think it was called MySpace or something like this. And my daughter came to the dinner table one night, right? And she was on social media, and we were very concerned about this, right? She was young, and she made this announcement: "I have 500 friends." I said, "What?" You know, I was thinking about, I only have like 3 or 4 friends, right? But she has 500, and she's only like 11, right? I said, "Are you serious? Like, who are these 500 friends, right?" "Yeah, I have 500 friends, and we like each other." Really? Wow. Okay. So then we got into this conversation. I see. Okay. So listen, her name is Jinmi. So I said, Jinmi, you know, um, what would happen, right, if for some reason you got ill and you went to the hospital and you had to be in there for a couple of weeks? Would all these 500 friends show up and be with you for each of the 3 weeks, taking turns? And she said, of course, right? Of course they would not, right? Who would actually come to the hospital every day? Her family. Her family. Maybe a close friend or something like this. It's fundamentally the family will come, right? You know, also had an experience about family that was like really really it was something I took note of. I brought my sister got married about a year and a half ago, so I took my son over to Ireland, right? And we stayed on for a couple of extra days to visit my cousins, right? So my son had never met my cousins, right? And I was just wondering how this would go, right? He's American. He wasn't born and raised in Ireland. But the most incredible, I had the most incredible experience, right? So when I brought him to meet, when we went to see our cousins, I hadn't seen them for years. And then, you know, we were instantly connecting. But then my son was like in a mic, he didn't know them at all. He was connecting with them as if he'd known them his entire life, and they had known him his entire life. And they couldn't stop asking questions about it. I was actually getting jealous. I'm being ignored here, right? And like my son is the center of attention. The conversations could never stop. This could only happen when there's a blood connection. There's something instantaneous within the identity of family that brings us to a level of depth and a level of intimacy that you don't get with friends, actually. It's really miraculous in many ways. So this was a personal experience I had that kind of illustrates how deep and how important the family and extended family are, right? So the family is an engine of growth. By the way, when we pick friends, right? What kind of people do we pick as our friends? Do we pick very challenging people as our friends? No. 9 times out of 10, we pick friends who are very similar to us, who are not that challenging to get along with. Correct? To be honest. But our family members are very different. Sometimes they're very challenging to get along with, right? But when we actually, make the effort to connect with them, or maybe some of you in this room haven't communicated with a parent, or with a sibling, or with a child, or with a grandparent because of some issue, right? I would encourage you to not let this be a limiting belief. I used to teach courses on marriage and family back in the US, and my students were working adults, right? And this was only a 5-week class, right? And I gave them a challenge, right? You know, a 3-week challenge. The first week, I asked them to actually only think positive thoughts about your family members. And do you know what they said? That's impossible. I mean, they were shouting back in droves, right? You know, you must be kidding me. I have to think of, I said the goal is for every single family member, you only have to have positive thoughts about it. Then we started talking about it, and they took on the challenge. They were reporting. By the way, I want you to do this challenge too. I'm going to be giving you challenges throughout this workshop. I'm giving you this challenge right now. For the next week, I want you to only think positive thoughts about all your family members. You have to write this down, otherwise you're going to forget. okay? You have to write it down. Now, you're saying this is impossible, right? Because there's somebody in your family you're not getting along with, right? Be honest, probably. We're smiling. We all have people in our family that are difficult to get along with, correct? So the first step is to think positive thoughts about them, right? And to also acknowledge we might be focusing on their weaknesses or how bad a certain behavior might be, could be, right? But let's actually shift gears here and let's look at their strengths. We need to be focusing on people's strengths and what's the good things about them, right? So the next week, right? So week 2, I'll be back in the US. So week 2, I'm going to give you part 2 of the challenge. Here's part 2, okay? Part 2 is to give appreciation to family members. Appreciate them in some way, right? That's all, and you continue thinking about them positively. That's week 2 of the challenge. And by the way, you can extend that to coworkers as well. And you said, oh my God, that's really difficult, right? And then part 3, in week 3 from now, 2 weeks from now, week 3, you continue part 1 and part 2. And in week 3, you're going to add up as another step. I want you to serve them in some way. Not necessarily all of them, but you serve them. Somebody you might not have served in a long time, and serving them might be calling them. Might be giving someone you haven't spoken to in 10 years. Call them up, right? How are you doing? Send them a text. Go and mow their lawn, right? Whatever it may be, that's up to you, right? And maybe you could write a reflection. I want you all to write a reflection on this. That's the 4th step, right? That's what my students did. And, you know, in the beginning of this course, I had several students who told me that they're never getting married. They had no belief in marriage, right? They looked at the marriage of their parents. There was divorces. There were all kinds of things. By the end of the 5 weeks, these students stood up in the class and they were telling us, I am going to get married. I feel confident I can get married, right? We had other students saying, I hadn't spoken to my parents in 15 years. They called them up, they met, they were sharing these transformative experiences only after 5 weeks, okay? I could give like another whole 3-day workshop without any problem at all. I could start it actually in 5 minutes on the family, right? And maybe in the future we might do something like that, okay? So this is the area where we get to actually grow the emotional relational area in the primary, fastest way possible, because our family members are different from us. And by the way, here all over the world where I'm going right now, especially in the Global South, people are constantly asking me and asking Global Peace Foundation, we need values-based peace-building content, workshops, materials, and so on, right? So I'm actually going to share with you right now the secret to peace building, right? First and foremost, become a person of character. People of good character become better peace builders. Secondly, break through in your relationships with your family, right, who are different from you. And then you will get the relationship muscles and the emotional muscles to actually be able to reach out to people who are difficult to get along with in society. They might be people from a different tribe. They might be people from a different religion. They're just different family members. Think of them like that, right? And suddenly you'll find the resources within yourself because you've actually been practicing on your own family, right? And we actually will make more progress with building peace if we actually make that correlation. That's why the family is the engine of peace, right? And the engine of love and the engine of relationships. We all want love. We all want great relationships, and we all want peace. We can learn all of this in an active way within our families. This is a resource that's right under our nose. We're all looking for resources, right? But the best resources are right under our nose. You should write that down. The first best resource is yourself. That's right under your nose, right? Like you yourself is under your nose, correct? Now, why don't you look down at yourself? Your nose is pointing down. Everyone stand up and look down at yourself. Stand up. So here's your nose, right? Your nose. Your nose, right? The best resource is not out there someplace. It is down here. Look down at yourself and tell yourself, I am an incredible resource. I won't ask you to do it 5 more times, right? But I'll ask you one more time. But this time, let's not go through 5 steps to get the outcome. I am an incredible resource. My family is an incredible resource. Write both those things down. You can sit down now, but write those down, right? I am an incredible resource. My family is an incredible resource, right? That's where within our family, this is where we learn about gratitude, love, joy, peace, wholeness, trust, presence, empowerment, empathy. These things are primarily developed within the family and then extended into the community, into schools, into society, and so on, okay? So these are more selfless qualities, right? You know, I'm going to be giving you a challenge in the next session, right? And one part of that challenge is every single day to reflect on what you're grateful for. I actually do this every day. I actually take 5 minutes and I go through the things I'm grateful for. The very first things I'm grateful for is my family. I'm grateful to God. I'm grateful to my family. That's what comes to mind first. I'm grateful I can walk, right? I'm grateful I can still make a contribution. So when you actually exercise gratitude, right, it's not going to change your life in any dramatic way, but it's going to change how you feel about your life tremendously, right? And this is a leadership strength. I told you earlier on that humility is a leadership strength. Did you write that down? Now you have to write down this next one, that gratitude is a leadership strength as well, okay? Do you think we need more gratitude or less? 2 people said more, and then the rest said, by not saying anything, the default answer is less. Do we need more gratitude? I'm telling you, this is a tough crowd, okay? Do we need more gratitude? There we go, there we go. Okay, awesome. Now, here's the opposite, right? The opposite. These are survival emotions that we have to work on, right? Doubt. We have to work on these. These are real emotions, real feelings, real chemicals that flow in our body. Doubt. Transforming education in the Global South by 2050, many of us are doubting that can happen. That is a more self-centered emotion, right? It's a fear emotion. Fear is another one. Anger is a self-centered emotion. So is insecurity, worry, anxiety, judgment, competition, hostility, sadness, guilt, shame, depression. We have all felt these things in our lives, right? Now, all we're doing here is that there is a set of opposite, more selfless emotions that we have to transition to, right? So we have to transition from this set, which are more selfish, to this set, right, which is more selfless. As we make that transition, we actually start to grow in amazing ways. And the way we cultivate that is within our families primarily, and then practice that in our work and in our relationship areas, right? And this is a quote from Johann von Gott. Treat people as if they are what they ought to be, and you can help them become what they are capable of becoming. This quote is about the fact that we're limitless, okay? We can become amazing because you are amazing, each and every one of us in this room. Our value, our dignity is unlimited, okay? Let's now actually touch on, we just touched very briefly. I could give a whole day on the emotional dimension, maybe 2 days, right? Now let's go into the mental cognitive dimension just briefly, okay? This is the dimension that the whole education sector exclusively focus on, but barely touches the full potential of it, right? So actually, let's look at it a little bit more, okay? So I already made this point, so I'm not going to repeat it here. We'll skip the exercise here, right, about higher order learning and thinking. I'll just go into some stuff right now real quick. So in this dimension, we want to be transitioning to higher order learning and higher order thinking, okay? That is very different from the low level mental exercises we do in the sector, which is memorization. Make sure you memorize everything we're teaching you this year, because there'll be an exam, right, at the end of the year, and you better pass that exam, okay? That's what we're assessing. We are now leaving this memorization of knowledge into higher order thinking. So we're actually championing this with something called the application of knowledge. Using knowledge, applying knowledge to solve problems, right? Experiential learning. So here in the workshop, we're doing exercises and so on. You know, this workshop should be 5 days long to do it really right, actually. The first one was like 2 days, right? I'm not saying the third one, phase 3, which will be in the fall, is going to be 5 days. But, you know, we're at least like kind of giving it a decent stab with 3 days, right? Feed your mind with good inputs. Let me ask you this question. In the world of social media and smartphones, do you think that we spend most of our day feeding our mind garbage, or is it actually really good transformative inputs? What do you think? People spend 8 hours a day on the smartphones, right? Reading social media feeds, reading about all the bad news in the world, right, that you can't do anything about. So it's time to start reading good books, or watching a good documentary, or actually reading the workbook. That's feeding your mind with good. So Ben, do you think when you read the 20 pages last night with the key points, do you think that was good input? You were feeding your mind? Very good. Now you better tell everybody.
It was a very good thing to myself. Okay. I actually didn't do it last night. I did it this morning. But it was phenomenal. I loved it, and it was very enriching and very transformational.
Thank you. James, did you read it? Tell everyone for your experience. Okay, good input.
It was very good input. And actually, as I was telling you in the morning, I'm also looking at how, as an institution, we can customize it and start practicing the same. Thank you.
I'm so glad James mentioned about cascading this content. This is another challenge you're being given in this workshop. It's the reason you're here, actually. It's not just for yourself. But when you go back to your school, your division, your NGO, or whatever area where you work, right? One of the first things you need to schedule is a meeting with your team, and you give them a debrief on this 3-day workshop, right? And bring them through this experience. That's the number one objective of this workshop, right? So that we can get a larger number of people joining this campaign to do what is really almost impossible, to transform a 3-century-old sector into something that can drive an African renaissance with enlightenment ideas, okay? Imagination, visualization, being innovative, being curious, discovery, focus, right? These are higher order mental functioning. And transitioning from the acquisition of knowledge to the application of knowledge, okay? So, you know, a better way, right, rather than cramming our students with information, give them a project and let them find the knowledge themselves to solve the problem, right? You give them a challenging project, have a group of 4 or 5 of them working on it for a period of time, and let them go out hunting for the knowledge. Let them become hunters and seekers, like our our ancestors were. They were hunters and seekers, right? Let them hunt. All the information is on here. They have to find it and apply what's relevant and solve the problem, right? When we do that, we're driving the African Renaissance, by the way, okay? So we just said feed your mind good inputs, so I won't dwell on this one. We talked about focus already, but I want to actually stop on this one a little bit. This is Einstein, Albert Einstein. Probably the cleverest scientist ever, probably, right? Set the bar in many ways. He said, if I had an hour to solve a problem and my life depended on the solution, this is amazing what he said next. I would spend the first 55 minutes determining the proper questions to ask. So if he was given an hour to solve a problem, he would spend the first 55 minutes determining the right question to ask. For once I know the proper question, I could solve the problem in less than 5 minutes. This is very instructive to us as educators, right? We are so bent out of shape, right? Trying to get people to answer questions, right? That's what we do all day long. We teach, and then we actually we ask people to answer questions. That's what exams are all about. This should be flipped on its head. We should be driving a new culture of asking the right questions. In fact, this new tool, AI, ChatGPT, have any of you used it, by the way? You've experimented with it? What's been your experience with it? If you ask it bad questions, are you going to get a really incredible answer? You have to ask this AI good, the biggest struggle, the biggest challenge is trying to figure out the right question to ask. I actually had struggles with this, right? I was trying to research something, so I would put in something. And I was not happy with the response, and I realized I didn't ask it the right question. So I had to go back and spend time, like Einstein said, spend 55 minutes out of the hour trying to determine the right question to ask the AI. And you're more likely to get better inputs and so on. So this is very instructive to all of us here as educators, right? To flip this flip the equation from answering questions to asking the right questions within yourself. That's why we want students working in teams. And by the way, teachers should be working in teams. The problem we have in this sector is that teachers work in silos. The education sector works in silos, right? When a teacher goes into the classroom, that's their silo. They don't talk to anyone else, right, except to be polite, right? We have to change this equation. This is like the relational dimension. Teachers should be like actively collaborating, helping each other out, right, in many ways. Can anyone comment on that based on your school experience where you've actually changed the culture, where collaboration, teachers are in teams, solving problems, students are working in problem-based teams? Has anyone in any of your schools here done that? And if so, could you just share for a few minutes what your experience has been before and after? Anybody? Okay, James.
Thank you very much. The way our school runs, it's not actually hierarchical, where decisions are made by an individual. So what happens is we work in teams. Starting from the teachers, we have a team for the kindergarten teachers, and there is a faculty meeting every Thursday. So they meet every Thursday to discuss whatever is happening in their classes. Then they come up with a plan on what needs to be done the following week. Before schools open, the teachers meet, agree on the content that will be taught. They agree on the routine that will be followed. If there are things that did not work, they work on them and maybe agree on how to proceed. In the primary, we also have a team, and because it is from class 1 to class 8, we have two teams. A team for the lower primary, which is from class 1 to 5. Then another team for the upper primary, which is from class 6 to class 8. They still have faculty meetings every Thursday. And when you become a teacher in the school, there is one thing that you commit to: time. Because the teams need time to meet. The same thing in the high school. We also have a team, and they have a team leader, and they also meet every Tuesday. Their meeting is different. Now, those team leaders in the kindergarten, in the lower primary, upper primary, and high school, they meet every Monday as a team. Actually, we refer to them as the pedagogical team. Now they meet every Monday, and whatever comes in the different teams is brought on board, and that team now has a chair, who is now the pedagogical chair, not to give direction, but just to coordinate whatever is being discussed by the teams. So that is how we operate in the teaching system. When we come to the other system on the non-teaching, we have the teams for the security, we have the teams for the catering, for the grounds. And also when it comes to the management, we call it actually a management team, where I just sit there as a chair, not to give direction, but to get information from the team. I'm very happy with what Mr. Joroge said yesterday. You just go there with a strategy, and they think they are the ones who have, and it has been working very well. So in a nutshell, having taught in other schools where you would realize that decisions were being made by an individual, and coming to a system where actually there is a very big term in a world of school that before we proceed, there has to be consensus. So as a team, we need to agree and move forward. So what I have experienced with such approach, it becomes very easy to get a buy-in in all that you're doing, because it is not one person saying, let's do it. A very good example, I think Vincent was saying he saw some very good teamwork when he came here on Wednesday when we were setting this up. It was a public holiday. The team would have said it's on a holiday. But because we had agreed to come and set up this, everybody was here. And it was not because we said, or I said, let us come. It is because we agreed on Wednesday 10th, we'll meet here to do the setup. So even when it was an holiday, nobody said it's an holiday, I'm not coming. So the experience that I've seen working with teams, even as a leader, it becomes very, very easy for you. Because sometimes these teams that we lead have very good ideas, even than what you have. And it's just create a forum where they bring their ideas, and once they bring the ideas, you build on them. And with that, you have a very strong institution. And some of the issues that you have where there's a go slow, others are not happy, those are things of the past. Because when you have a team that is objective, sometimes it may not go the way a member thinks. But looking at how we approach it, it becomes a team's decision. And where somebody feels it is not going the right direction, they also have a forum to bring it. So the experience is that working in teams is where we should be, because no one is a silo of knowledge. And at the same time, that becomes the old school of, I've said this, it is either my way or the highway. But it works well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, James. You know, here's the saying, right? Remember we said the best resources are under your nose? Like each one of you is a resource to the person sitting next to you, right? You know, everyone here in the room, you're doing some amazing things, right? In your schools or in your divisions or in the county or whatever, dealing with the issue of corruption or whatever it may be, right? So please learn from each other. Use the opportunities over lunch, the breaks, to learn from each other, right? You are an incredible resource to everyone here in the room, okay? Okay, so before we go into the physical dimension, what I'd like you to do for maybe 5 minutes is, why don't you get into teams, right? Not just pairs this time, but maybe teams of at least 4, so you can turn around if you need to. I want you to do a little reflection on this morning. So this morning we actually were you don't have to reflect on the limiting beliefs. You could if you want, but let's actually reflect on some insights you got from the emotional relational area, the centrality of the family to drive progress there, and also to be transitioning from basic knowledge acquisition, right, to these higher order mental cognitive functioning. So what are some things you realized? What are some things you learned? What are some things you're going to actually implement, right? So why don't you meet in teams for about 5 minutes, and let's do a quick capture of the most important things that you learned so far this morning. Okay, go ahead, guys. Okay, guys, let's reconvene. Thank you very much. Okay, guys, let's reconvene. Thank you. Don't worry, we're going to give you more time for group work. Okay. Okay, so I'd like to ask one person from one of the teams that, maybe one of these two teams here, to come up and share, representing your group, right? What are some of the things that stood out, right, from this morning for you? Just to share with the entire audience. Who would like to do that? Okay, come on up. So you're representing your group now. So you're representing your team, right? Yeah, yeah. So keep your name and everything.
Thank you very much. My name is Steve. I'm representing this great team that's here. We were looking at two aspects of, emotional attachment to our families. And we are looking at these things that detach us from our families, at the same time, things that bring us together as a unit. And some of the issues we realized in terms of things that detach us from our families. We looked at rejection at the family level. And the rejection can come from the parents or can come from the siblings, such that somebody feels that, look, I don't belong to this family, actually, if this is what I'm getting from the family. And the rejection can be in terms of, we are all born differently and we are gifted differently. You might have been successful because of the education you went through, and I might have not been so much good educationally, but I have other aspects that I can, excel in. So I pursue that one. I'm not that excellent to your level, but I'm somewhere. So there is that form of rejection that comes in terms of parents maybe feeling that we paid a lot of money, but this is what you are giving us. You are now a DJ. Instead, when your mates are doctors, you are simply a DJ. You are a content creator. What is that? Is this what we paid for school fees? So there is that form of rejection that come in. Another thing that we bring in are social conflicts. And these social conflicts, we are looking at them in form of wealth distribution. At one point, a parent works so hard, and the children wait to be given fairly. So you sit somewhere at your comfort, the parents try as much as possible to teach you, maybe take you through class and school and all that. But at the back of your mind, you are just looking at, so he has a plot in Karen. So he has another one in Runda. So what is the essence of working all this hard when these things are already there? Let me relax. I've even had cases where the children are looking for ways of eliminating their parents so that they can have the wealth. These things happen. So this one is bringing a conflict. So you can imagine in a family where you are 10 siblings, 3 guys group up to eliminate your parents because of their wealth. Then later on you realize that that is actually what they were planning in order to inherit the wealth. At the end of the day, that family will be totally separated. That conflict will be a seed that is planted that will never be going. So this one will detach us from other members of the family. We are talking of other social aspects like divorce and separation can leave the children more battered than the people who are involved. So you find us, maybe others are siding with the parents, the mother, others are siding with the father. Then in the whole process, there are victims. I might not be talking to my brother, my blood brother, simply because he supported my mother and somebody else supported my father in their divorce, which I was not even part of. We end up not talking, and it ends up putting us like that. Then finally, let me talk about competition at family level. We are supposed to have healthy competition that is bringing us together as a family. When somebody becomes a doctor, for example, that doctor should not be the medicine that kills the fabric of the family. It should be something that brings us together as members. And that content creator should be part of that family with his content creation. We should not be bringing in, class in the family, so that at one time, this is an experience from where I come from, there was a funeral. So people are seated down and people are giving their ideas. We definitely expect the elder ones to be giving us more direction. But there is that gentleman who is always drunk in the village. He is drunk, but he's very honest. What he says is very honest. So the elder one among the gathering said, now, we are going to bury so-and-so here. And then the guy shouts at the back before he finishes, now, can you stop talking because you have nothing to implement what you're saying? So people are like, huh? No, you have no money. Let so-and-so talk because he can buy the coffin, buy the bull, bring the hearse. So why are you going to give us ideas that you can't implement? So you see, the meeting actually ended in a disarray. Simply because the guy said the truth. But now if you look at that level, we are bringing in conflict. Somebody is trying to bring class, because our classes are associated actually with our income. Our decision making traditionally is attached to our income, while it is not supposed to be like that. Even if you are that jobless guy, you can be having very clear minds and very good ideas. But now, class will now put you down compared to the other members who are financially able. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It seems like this discussion you were having was the most spirited discussion of the conference so far, right? So, when we were here in phase 1 in October, we only had 3 modules at that time. So basically the three that we've given so far. But since then we've developed 2 more, which we'll do one this afternoon and we'll do one tomorrow. So the 2 new ones are educators as moral and innovative leaders. And then tomorrow we're going to have creating great schools and regions, right? But, in hearing these discussions here, do you think we should develop one on the family and extended family? Do you think that would be helpful? So 3 people said yes, and then everyone else probably not, right? What do you think? Okay, so we go through the same process. So we have 3 people, then we have 13. If I ask it 5 more times, we'll get everybody, right? Okay, so I'll consider that, right? But you can talk to me and let me know if we should do that. But just before lunch, since lunch is going to satisfy the food drive, right? I better talk about the physical dimension for a little bit, okay? And actually, we could do a whole workshop on this one alone. It's just, this content is crazy. So the thing I want you to walk away from when we talk about the physical dimension is energy and vitality, right? In other words, our physiology, right? We're talking about our physiology. And, it is so important that we know how to actually generate energy and vitality. And especially in the education sector, right? I've noticed all over the world that a lot of educators don't have a lot of energy, right? And a lot of vitality. And this can change, right? So do you think, like, when you, as a teacher, as an educator, or as a school head, do you need to be showing up sluggish, Or do you need to be showing up every day with maximum energy and maximum vitality to get through the day and do all the transformative things you got to do? What do you think? The more energy and vitality you have, the more transformative impact that you can have, right? So, you know, I mean, for myself, right? I'm running this workshop, but actually I traveled all the way from Seattle, flew to Amsterdam, flew from Amsterdam to Nairobi, right? Uh, was only here one day, and then we started this workshop. So I have to switch on energy and vitality. I can't come in and say, "Oh my God, I've jet lag," right? Maybe we'll cut the content in half. I can't do that. So I have to go. I have my own process to build up energy and vitality so that I am present, right, with you, even fighting jet lag. Okay. So, you know, it's the same for all of us. Like when we go to our families, or we go to, our relationships, or we go to our students or our fellow teachers, we have to show up with energy. You've got to have energy and vitality, okay? And there are certain foundations of health that help you to actually have we call it the foundations of health. I learned this from my daughter. My daughter is a naturopathic doctor, right, back in New York, right? And she taught me about this, about the foundations of health, and it's so true. I've been practicing this. First thing is a nutritious diet. So in other words, going back to our natural diet, right? So the Creator created us to actually feast on our natural diet. So our ancestors, who are nomadic hunter-gatherers, right? They didn't eat processed food. There was no processed food. What did they eat? What do you think our ancestors ate here in Africa? What were the kinds of food that they ate? Fruits and vegetables, right? And protein. Protein, like meat, fish, that kind of thing, right? Chickens and what have you. So that's our natural diet, right? Lots of fruit, lots of vegetables, lots of fruits, and lots of protein. Protein you need it for your muscles. Do you think like eating lots of cookies and McDonald's and, you know, anything that's in a box, pasta and so on, do you think that's actually your natural diet? When you go into the grocery store, right? My daughter taught me this. She said, shop the aisles. On the aisles is where the where the fruits and vegetables are, right? Everything in the middle, which is like 2/3 of the store, keep away from that place. Anything in a box or in a package is keep away from it, right? That's processed food. And it's actually not good for you, okay? The next thing is exercise, right? So how many of you have an exercise regimen 7 days a week? One person, 2 people, okay? Okay, 3 people, right. What about the rest of you? So I'm going to give you the best exercise you can do if you have not been exercising. Do you know what the best exercise is? What do you think it is? Walking. Exactly. Exactly. Actually, in the next presentation, I'm going to give you a walk challenge. Why don't you all stand up for a second? And I want you to look down at your legs. Now, really take a good look at your legs, right? Your knees, the calves, the bottom of your leg, your foot. I mean, this takes up half your body, right? What do you think the purpose of your legs are? Is it to make it as quickly as possible to a chair and sit down there all day long? Is that the purpose of your legs? What do you think the Creator, why did he give us legs? What are we supposed to do with our legs? Walk, right? Our ancestors followed herds, right? And do you know how fast they walk? They walk 15-minute miles. That is the speed of a herd. They walk 15-minute miles, okay? So I want us all to get back to walking again. If you don't need to spend money at gyms and all this kind of stuff, right? You can save a fortune. In fact, Any of you that's currently in a gym, and I'm giving you this alternative, you can give me the money that you would normally spend at the gym, and we'll use it for driving this transforming education in the global south. Also, all the money you burn up eating processed foods, give that to me, and I'm going to use that to drive this campaign, right? So suddenly we actually have an incredible fundraiser underway right here, right now, right? So all we're doing, I'm giving you an alternative, and you give me the money to drive this campaign that you waste on processed food and gyms and all these other things. What do you guys think? Possible, I like that. That's mission possible. You're going to save a fortune, right? So talk to your legs right now for 2 minutes. Legs, I'm really sorry that I haven't been walking. I haven't been using you properly, right? You have a conversation with your legs. Talk to them. Dear legs, you are so precious. You know, you've been with me all my life, but I've only been sitting down. I haven't been using them. I'm designed to walk. The Creator designed me to walk, right? At least an hour a day. So from today on, I am going to use these legs that I was created with to fulfill their purpose. Instead of, you don't have to follow a herd, right? But you can at least walk for an hour as if you are following a herd, right? That's what we're designed to do. The more we learn to be in alignment to the way we're designed, the more healthier you're going to be, right? Okay? It's as simple as that. It's not complicated. Everything we're telling you in this workshop, all it is being in alignment to the way we were designed, okay? The more we tune into that, the more prosperous and the more way you're going to grow, and the more healthy you will be in every possible way. So now one final conversation to your legs. From now on, you're going to be my best friend. We're going to build up the fluids and the muscles. We're going to do amazing things together, okay? All right. Now you can sit. Maybe you should just keep standing for the rest of the workshop. I'm joking. Sit down. Okay. The next one is sleep. Sleep. Are you sleeping well? You need to sleep, right? Now don't go falling asleep right now in the workshop, right? That's not allowed, okay? I'm talking about try to get like 7 or 8 hours of sleep. Sleep is so important. Also hydration, right? We need to be drinking a lot of water. Water is so important, right? Do you think you're drinking an adequate amount of water every day? Does anyone know the data on the water, how much water you should drink based on your weight? There's a formula for that. I forget what it is. But basically, for myself, I try to drink about 10 bottles of this a day, right? And maybe a bit more. And I only actually started becoming conscious of this about a year ago. I didn't drink water a lot before. And it actually changed my physiology. My daughter was telling me that water is actually is a lubricant. It lubricates your bones even, right? So water is very, very important, right? Breathing is the next one. We're mainly made up of oxygen. We need to learn how to breathe properly, right? So I'm going to actually give you a little breathing exercise right now. So why don't you stand up? Okay. Actually, sit down for a second. Okay, I have to tell you, right? So we're going to do this 3 times, right? So this might be a little bit challenging, but this is kind of like you can do this like 10 times. Do this a couple of times a day. So first one is that you spend 8 seconds taking in a full breath. So like this, right? Then you hold it for 30 seconds. So you fill your lungs, like your diaphragm should actually sink into your spine, basically, right? So you're 8 seconds of full intake of air, right? Hold it then for 30 seconds. So in your mind, count down from 30, right? You're holding it in. Then you let it out for 16 seconds. So you slowly let it out, not as fast as you took it in, right? And it's amazing the kind of vitality that gives you. Are you guys willing to give it a go? I'll help you with the counting, okay? So you'll have to, you keep your mind at peace. I'll do all the counting, okay? And all you have to do is do the breathing part, okay? Are you ready to give it a go? Okay, why don't you stand up then? So the first step is you're going to fill your lungs with air in 8 seconds. Then you hold it, and I'll count down. I'll do the counting, and then you let it out in 16. Don't let it all out in 4 seconds. You have to hold it and have it all gone out in 16 seconds, okay? Ready to go? Okay. We're going to do the intake right now. I'm counting down, starting now. 1, 2. Fill your lungs up with air. I'm going to start it again. You get everything out so that you can get everything in. So prepare. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to prepare. Preparation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now intake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You guys are not breathing at all, okay? It's like, you know, there's nothing going on here. You're just frozen, like frozen in fear. It's like, you know, it should be looking come up, someone that knows how to do this. Show me how this looks in terms of physiology. Maybe you should put your hand on your stomach. I need to see some physicality going on here, right? Okay, there we go. Now that's better. Okay, are you ready? I'm going to do 5 to prepare. Use your hand on your stomach, right? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Intake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Freedom. Out. No, not all at once in 16 seconds. 1, 2. Okay, you guys blew it, right? Now we have to do it again. So when you have it in, you can't blow it out. You have to let it out slowly, right? In 16 seconds. Let's challenge this one more time, okay? So this time we're not going to do this 10 times here. One more time, but let's challenge to do it right. I know some of you are freaking out there. I was getting to like 18. Oh my God! This is mental, right? This is a mental exercise more than it's a physical exercise. So tell your mind and your spirit that you're going to achieve it, okay? It's mental, okay? It's not physical. It's more mental than physical. So calm down. Tell your mind, I'm going to actually do it, okay? This is actually very powerful. Okay, let's get into a state of preparation in 5 seconds, okay? Now, when we get to 30, you hold it. You let it out slowly, okay? Not all at once. I don't want to see people collapsing like this. Preparation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Intake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Out slowly. 1 in 16 seconds. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, guys. Okay, listen. This is powerful. Our body is mostly oxygen, right? And we need to be pulling in oxygen. This is actually life. The breath of air, right, is life, and water. This is right under our noses, right? The secret to good health is right under our noses, and we're spending all this money on meeting nutritionists and so on. Give all this money to me instead, okay? I'll use it for this campaign. Do this like 10 times, 3 times a day, and you will see the massive difference it's going to make. Remember, 10 times, 3 times a day. Okay, write that down. Now you know how to do it. And there's another challenge. Okay, guys, you can sit down now. I know you want your legs to be right. Okay, so I'm going to hand it. This is it, guys, for this morning. We'll continue after lunch. I'll hand it over to Vincent. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's appreciate Dr. Tony. Very good. Dr. Ketch, we'll start from looking from down there going up. Okay. So did you enjoy? Are you learning? Is learning taking place? This particular content, when I was still in college, told Dr. Tony, Dr. Ketch, and Daniel, and Willis, they came to our college and shared some of this content. And as a result, we started the character classes that the school now adopted as one of the core units, common units for everybody. At that time, I never knew I'll be working for the Global Peace Foundation. So the director was so happy that all the students who are passing through the college will get this particular content. And as a result of that, we did several colleges, universities, UN, ZTech, a number of them. I didn't know God was preparing me to work for the Global Peace Foundation Kenya. And the content originator is Dr. Tony. So by extension, the content was already cascaded long time ago. So for the schools, the content you are having, find a way of now cascading it. If you are having a student orientation day, it can be part of the student orientation day. Maybe you take a 1 week. I know like KMTC, we did one with Dr. Ketch and also Daniel, funded by UNESCO. It's called the O3 Plus project. And now we were able to influence their orientation session, whereby within a week, all the students, how many campuses do you think KMTC have? There are 72 campuses, okay, in 44 counties, 60,000 students. Now, all of them, for a week, the new freshers, the freshman and lady, they'll be going for a week on this particular content. So that then after that, now they go to the normal units. So in your school for the new students, it helps. It's how you integrate. You may not change the whole system, but during your orientation, you can be able to have this as a model, because we really need to have people who can be able to live for the greater good. So thank you very much. So I know we have lunch here with us now. Allow me for 1 minute, Dr. Tony, to bring in Dr. Ketch, and then we go for lunch, and then we'll come for the final session. After, is that okay, Dr. Yes. Oh, yes, so after lunch, so that we can be able to breathe properly. Okay, thank you. Let's pray for lunch. Father God, in the mighty name of Jesus, we want to thank you this wonderful afternoon. We exalt your name. You are Ebenezer, this far you've been able to bring us. The Bible says that your word is like a strong tower. The righteous will always run to it and they are safe. You've given us food. Father God, we say thank you. And those who do not have, we pray that you also reach out to them. The sick, heal them. And also for the leadership of this country, put them before you. As we are going to partake our lunch, we also pray that those who do not have, the same way you've been kind to us, Father Lord, we are not special in any way. You also show your face upon them. I pray this thanksgiving and believing in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. So lunchtime, Tony, Dr. Tony, how many minutes do we give them? I decide. You want me to decide the time? Okay. So how many minutes? Let me be liberal a bit. How many minutes do you want to go for lunch? 1 hour. Okay, Tony has said 1 hour. So we come back here at 2:08.
Yeah, try to use the opportunity to meet new people, right? And this is an incredible network here, right? and learn from each other, and also eat delicious food too for your physiology, okay?
Thank you. Dr. Tony has been so kind. You're far too kind. 1 hour. And Bishop Dr. Richard, there is this book down there. As you take your lunch, you can be able to grab a copy. Knowledge is power. Sindio, we want to say something.
Good afternoon. Yeah, I appreciate and we are learning. I just want to, because of the conference and global peace, the books go for 1,500, the bookshop. When I go with them, 1,000. But because of this conference and we want to connect and network, I'm giving for 500. But the next time we meet, you'll get it with 1,500. You understand what I'm saying? The other thing, we are ready to partner with you. As the CEO for Rich Grace, we're ready to come to your schools. We're ready to come to your institutions. We are working with the government, private institutions, and religious institutions. Please, we have the table there. You can just get your copy. I can autograph for you. Knowledge is power. These books, one of the uniqueness of these books, engineer, the books has the power to resuscitate the dead character, no matter how much the person has gone down. If he goes through these books, that person will just wake up. It has the power to resurrect. The books are drawn from the holy books, the Bible especially. What is God saying about character? How are we going to bring this character back? And we've been taught about that one. This is what we need in this country. And I've connected with a lot of people. And I'm so happy that the global peace is giving us the opportunity to connect. Maybe one word, if I come to an institution or school, can change your narrative. He said one thing, Tony said one thing, gratitude. Appreciate somebody. Somebody has a unique, an answer of what you are looking. Somebody just here. So just, may God give you the eyes to see that person next to you. Talk to that person. Talk to me. I'm just there to, I need you. We need each other. We want to make this an integrity movement. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Let's appreciate Bishop. So Bishop, you'll sign this one for the Principal McKinney. I'll be able to buy for her this one, the first one. Sasao, thank you very much. Yeah, please sign. You didn't know, McKinney is here. Okay, so thank you very much. Please enjoy your lunch. Enjoy your lunch. And what's the time now? How many minutes now? Okay, so 11 past. So I've added you some 3 minutes on top. Asanteni sana. So our VIPs will go the other way, and then me and the other team will take our lunch here. Thank you.
Then press your eyes in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then go to your lips here, opposite the top and the bottom, and switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? That, since you've been sitting, they say most of the stress that you have in your body gathers around here. Okay? Yeah, so all the tension, we call it, there's another program we call tension release exercise. Okay? So it's on your butt, meaning your lower abdomen at the backside, following your spine. Yeah, so your pelvic area. So come on, a trauma, tremor related to maybe accidents, issues of family, then this is the part that needs to be released. And then the shoulder as well. Then your lungs are in your muscular bay, the second lung in your body, okay? So whenever you wake up, you do exercise on your toes. You can do 50 times, 100 times just there. So the strain you feel is like the second lung in your body, okay? We used to do that. Okay, raise your hands here. 1. Just relax that way. Sideways. Upwards. Sideways. Okay, now breathe in. So we can start the breathing program. Just run it as it goes. I want you to breathe in through your nose. We just did it, so we're picking up from what Dr. Tony Divine had done. So breathe in through your nose. So you can use your hands. So you breathe in, so just wait a bit. So you bring it to your heart, through your nose, hold, and then breathe out through your nose, mouth. So pull from the universe into your heart, push down to the earth. Pull from the earth through your nose into your heart, hold, push out through your mouth. In, heart, down. From the earth, pull to the ground, to your heart, push to the universe. Pull, push down. In, slowly, out. Slowly in, down. Pull, up. In, down. Relax. So as it goes on, continue. So the objective of this is that when you breathe in, you gain air from the universe, right? You bring it into your heart, through your nose, hold it. We did it, Dr. Tony Divine was doing that, but just for the purpose of explanation, when you breathe through your nose, then push into so you're supposed to, like a blowing a balloon. The air must go. So hold it. For the one that Dr. Tony was doing is a little bit advanced to hold for 30 seconds. But as you go, we normally have another one we call the 4-7-8 principle, where you breathe in 4 seconds, hold for 7, then go, breathe out for 8 seconds. So you can do that, like we said, 3 times in a day. When you come to your office, you do the same thing. So you're going to do that. You can sit down.